रामुनाति रावणचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राधा मदन मोहन राधे राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शना निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं उदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। So Kartik month started yesterday, I believe, right? So yesterday was the first day. Sharat Purnima you all had yesterday only? Festival, another day you will celebrate. At that time you had. Oh, right. Acha, Sharad Purnima, there are two celebrations, I think, correct, no? One is beginning and end. This is Ras Purnima yesterday, Sharad Purnima. Last one is Ras. Correct. Oh, is it ending of Sharad Ritu? Oh, right. Bhagavan Apite Ratri, Sharadot Fulla Mallika. That is Sharad. Yeah. Every day is a festival this month. Special month. Oh, right. Okay. After that you can, yeah. See, all of you are able to see that? Yeah. In this, we began with the spiritual principles in the importance of morning sadhana program. So without following the spiritual principles, the devotee's enthusiasm dwindles. On the other hand, if a devotee strictly follows regulation, discipline, and Krishna consciousness, then sense control and uh, spiritual bliss results from purification of heart. O divyam utrakayena sattvam shuddhye yasmat brahmasokyam tu ananta. Then pure service in further progressive stages, it's like ripening of a mango. Huh? It gets better and better as we follow these principles. So, Prabhupada stressed on these things, living with devotees, rising early, attending Mangalarti, Sanskrit rounds, attending Bhagavatam class, and reading his books. And after that, one should work all day in some honest seva for Krishna under the guidance of a guru and following the four regs. So these are the things that Prabhupada actually repeatedly emphasized in many of his letters, purports, because these are practical application of Krishna consciousness. He didn't want anyone to be like a armchair speculator, as Prabhupada talks about the impersonalist, and he didn't want devotees to be bustling with activity with no foundation of shastric study. Hmm? So in this way, these are very simple principles. One has to just stick to them. Simple austerities of Krishna conscious life. We did all these things. Then about the morning program, we spent time also. We discussed about the morning program. And suppose everything is done in conformity to a regular standard. For example, all the temple members without exception must rise by 4 a.m., attend Mangalarti and everything. Huh? So we finished. Then last time we devoted time for this one, chanting. Huh? How we can chant with more bhava, more consciousness. Last time, not only we should chant first we should chant the fixed number of rounds. And once we do that, and then we should work on the quality after that. Huh? We discussed about it elaborately last time. And then let's proceed further today. Huh? Okay, now this is the one for today. Huh? Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So, see some some lines I have given in bold. One of you can read this? You have another mic with them? Yes, Prabhu.
The morning program is a power packed succession of the most beneficial devotional practices. By taking part attentively in Mangala Arti, Kirtana, Tulsi Arti, Japa, Guru Puja, deity worship, and Srimad Bhagavatam class, a devotee is sure to stimulate his original ecstatic love of God, which has long been covered by Maya. All the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are cleansed of material conceptions, and one comes to see Krishna face to face with the eyes, with the heart, and with the intellect. One must attend the program not only physically but mentally. A devotee must make the mind his friend and bring it under the control of the intelligence by careful chanting, hearing, and remembering. If a person drags himself through the program reluctantly and allows himself to remain sleepy in the mode of ignorance, he will not be able to fully derive the strength and purification that is easily available if one is attentive. Bhakti Vinod Thakur describes the feelings of Krishna Prema which are obtainable by participation in even the simplest parts of the morning observances. When I hear the sound of the mridanga in my heart, I always desire to join in kirtana. And when I hear the bona fide songs describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. When I take charanamrit of the deity, I see the holy Ganges water that comes from the feet of Lord Vishnu, and my bliss knows no bounds. By seeing the tulsi tree, my heart feels joy, and Lord Madhava is also satisfied.
You remember this, huh? Gauravihita kirtana shuni hridaye anandena. He says, another place says, mridanga vadya karite mana shunite man avasara sadaya chet. He's saying, my mind is longing to hear the sweet sound of the mridangam and kartal and the kirtan of Gauravihita kirtan. Similarly, he's saying, Tulsi de ki judaya pran, Madhava Toshani jani. As soon as I see Tulsi, immediately I remember she is a Madhava Toshani or Krishna Priya, who is capable of awarding us Krishna Seva, like that he says. And in the same manner, he says Prasad also. And then he's saying, and the Ganga is saying, Tarana Sindhu Yakya Ganga, Sukana Sima Paya, like that he says. So it's a very beautiful song. So one very important thing in all these items which are mentioned here is that we have to bring our consciousness along with the external activity. That's why he's saying one should bring the mind along with oneself while performing these morning programs. See, mind, intelligence, and ego are the places where the impurities are settled. Impurities are present. What are the impurities? The impurities of proprietorship, controllership, enjoyership, about which we explained before. Which is proprietorship is greed, and enjoyership is lust, and controllership is anger. So these impurities are stored in the mind and intelligence and the ego. So, and they have been there with us since time immemorial. Now we want to cleanse them. So how do they get cleansed? When you do the external activities which are mentioned here, like Mangalarti, Narsingharti, Tulsi Arti, Japa, Bhagavatam class, Guru Puja. So this external activity alone is not enough, because the external activity should be accompanied by internal consciousness. Because what cleanses these impurities is the internal state of consciousness while doing this activity. That's why our movement is called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Yeah. So what happens if a devotee refuses to bring the consciousness due to lethargy and laziness, and just brings only the external body? Okay, I will put myself in the temple hall because I am supposed to. I given my attendance and I am present. Or I will sit to the Bhagavatam class, but I will be making a plan for the whole day or the whole week. Because this preacher is not a very great preacher, he's a boring preacher. So I just make up my mind to make my schedule for the whole month or whatever. If you're making like that, yes, you can do that. So which means the mind lost the opportunity for getting cleansed by the bathing of the Bhagavatam class. So that is one of the reasons why we find sometimes devotees have spent many years, but purification hasn't taken place. Or we find sometimes a person has spent many years and they fall prey to sensual, you know, sinful activities. Or they might have spent many years, but they are still speculative, skeptical. Recently, I had gone to one of the centers. I was speaking that whenever I want to do anything in spiritual life, the first thing I do is to pray to Tulsi Maharani. That Tulsi Maharani, I am not able to do this. I have a strong longing to do this type of service. It is only a dream for me till now. When will this dream become true? Please give me the strength, the inspiration, the motivation, the attraction, and time and energy, all these things, so that I'll be able to render this service. And if you keep praying daily, a time will come, suddenly you will find yourself doing the service. Whatever you aspired for will happen. It will happen. So I was speaking this. So after the class was over, one of the boys personally, privately met me and he said, "Babaji, you said we can pray to Tulasi. But he said, but I am not able to pray." He said, I asked why? What's the reason? I have no faith that this Tulasi is any more than a plant. I am just seeing Tulasi as any other plant outside in the garden. I am seeing like that. Then I said, then don't pray. I said, then you won't benefit at all. Because ashraddha dattaya hutam. There's one verse in Bhagavad Gita. No? That means anything you do faithlessly, it is as good as doing nothing in the path of spiritual life. It's good for nothing. You will be simply wasting time. You are in the wrong place. So even with a little faith, if you approach the Lord, that little faith is like the currency, initial currency, the principal amount you invest. Then with that you can develop more. That little currency can be developed into more and more, more and more faith. Little faith can be multiplied into more and more faith, like that. Like business. The business, you invest some principal amount in the beginning. Then 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, it can be increased. If one has no money at all, you're empty, you just open a shop, what will you do? How will you pay the rent? you know, how will you start the business without any principal amount? So then somebody may ask, so how does the Shraddha come? Hmm? Actually, the Shraddha comes from Ajnata Sukriti in the beginning. And the Ajnata Sukriti comes from Jnata Sukriti. Ajnata Sukriti, from that, eventually you'll come to the stage of Jnata Sukriti and then to the Shraddha. Now, Ajnata means unknowingly performed spiritual activities. They are oftentimes given to us by some senior devotee. The senior devotee catches us and engages us, do this seva. We don't know we are rendering service to Krishna and Krishna is going to be pleased and all that. We just do it because we have been told to do. But then when you do that, uh, the Lord becomes pleased. Just like that example of the rat, rat just brought that wick outside and started glowing brilliantly. It's Ajnata. Unknowingly, he made the lamp brilliantly shine, and Lord became pleased with the rat. Similarly, we may do sometimes some service told by somebody, and from Ajnata Sukriti, some Sukriti starts. Then Jnata Sukriti means now you have become very awake now. You voluntarily go forward begging for seva. Because you know that by doing seva, I'll get purified. By getting purified, my Krishna Prema will get awakened. We voluntarily go. Kartik Yatra is coming. Oh, let me do some seva now. There are many, many senior devotees do very menial services because they know that this is a golden opportunity. This month is Radharani's month. So we can take maximum advantage of the seva opportunity for Vaishnavas, Hari Guru Vaishnava Seva. So then Jnata, and then Jnata Sukriti, when you're queuing consciously, you're accumulating Sukriti more and more. And that leads to the building of Shraddha. Then once a little Shraddha is awakened by that, in what? Shraddha in all the spiritual items. Shraddha in prasad, Shraddha in the scriptures, Shraddha in the devotees, Shraddha in the deities, Shraddha in the chanting of the holy name, Shraddha in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Shraddha in all the spiritual items, like what Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings in that song, that Shuddha Bhakata Charanareno, Bhajana Anukula. So, then that Shraddha with which we approach these spiritual items, that produces a background consciousness eventually as we go through those items. When we are right morning Mangalarati to Bhagavatam, in all those items you will find there's a background consciousness, a prayerful consciousness, a sublime consciousness, a longing to attain Krishna, a longing to perfect our human form of life. So that background consciousness is actually what cleanses our mind and intelligence and false ego. For example, we might have been driven by false ego before and speaking arrogantly, harshly, with no humility. But then after the consciousness develops in the background, we know that the arrogance is useless in this world. It doesn't help in attaining Krishna. Once my spiritual master was telling that the moment you lost your humility and you became carried away by false pride, from that time on, Krishna stops accepting your devotional service. He was telling, at that time, you may be rendering service, but it's not accepted by Krishna. Krishna says, sorry, you are committing one serious mistake in this place. Because once the pride is like a pinch of poison in milk, it spoils the whole thing. So then it's not that you are condemned forever. It's not like that. Immediately one should, wake up. Okay, let me give up my false pride. Just like that brahmachari, milk drinking, Dugdhahari brahmachari, correct, no? He was condemned by Lord Chaitanya. But then when he became humble, he was again reaccepted. Correct, no? In the same manner, we can become reaccepted. So one thing that we all have to remember always is the sublime consciousness development in the background. That is not by our endeavor alone. We can actually, as I told you, Ajnata Sukriti, Jnata Sukriti, Shraddha, all these things in stages develop. It takes a while. It is going to take some period of time. One requires patience. One has to be very careful to avoid Vaishnava Parada. And one has to be very focused in attaining the spiritual goals without getting diverted to material achievements and material name, fame, glory. Some people have traded their spiritual sublime consciousness for material achievements. Because there sometimes, for example, you want to prove yourself to be a greater devotee than another devotee. That's what Indra did. Now, Indra, he competed with Prithu. So he got some material stuff. What is it? To be a king of the heaven. But then he lost the spiritual goal of life. On the other hand, you can see Prithu Maharaj. He didn't want to trade his loving relationship with the Lord for the sake of proving to Indra that I am better than you. And you find him, he sacrificed his 100 sacrifice. And the result was that he was smart in attaining the ultimate goal of life. He, along with his wife Archie, Prithu Archie, both of them went back to Godhead. While Indra was stuck, continuing to fight with other people, continuing to be insecure and holding on to his seat and all that. So, therefore, what do we consider as worthy in our life? The sublime background consciousness, which is developed over several years and decades of dedicated and focused seva and spiritual activities and prayerful mood. As we keep doing it, it's gradually the consciousness is the blessed by Guru and Krishna. It's a blessing. And once that background consciousness develops, the devotee's approach will be very spiritual. For example, one is reading a Bhagavatam purport and elaborating it. So that elaboration is going to be like they say, Bruyuhu snigdasya shishyasya gurovo guhyam apyuta. They are saying, Vetatvam tatra tat saumyam. So they are saying that you are saumya, you are gentle in speech. And Bruyuhu snigdasya. You are a snigdasya shishyasya. So the snigdha actually is like a ghee. So you exactly understand what is the right thing to be done to please the superiors. And you have been blessed by all the spiritual masters. He's saying. So Guravo Guhyam Apita. So Guhyam means the most confidential truths of Lord's pastimes, which are often commonly not known to the mass of people. Those subtleties, subtle nuances, fineness of the pastimes of the Lord become revealed to you. There is one song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says in that song that when one is watering the Bhakti Lata Bij creeper, one should pay attention to watering it properly by looking at the root and watering it. And one should not be very eager to look up at the fruit. He says, and the same manner, if a devotee's focus is Krishna's lotus feet, he says that the bhakti becomes more and more and more sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. But the moment devotee becomes eager to look up at, when am I going to get darshan? Now can I get darshan of Krishna? I have done so much bhakti. Now let me see. Then he says, yes, Krishna gives a glimpse of darshan and he vanishes. He doesn't show up anymore. Then a devotee, again, I'll get you that song. I will send you the line and you can share it. So in that song he says that, but those who are intelligent always, even up to the level of Srimati Radharani, he says, they focus on seva at the lotus feet of Krishna. So those whose eyes are fixed on Krishna's lotus feet, they feel that greatest joy, inexplicable bliss of the mood of servant of the servant of the servant. Like that he says. So in this way, the taste in spiritual life actually comes from that sublime consciousness. Otherwise, the activities are all very rudimentary, very elementary. We saw once in one house when we had gone for a house program with my spiritual master, one small kid was taking the chamar and he was doing for the deity in the altar. That means the bhakti yoga activities are so simple. Even a child can do chamar. Even a child can go and give arati lamp to everybody. Or they can play mridangam, kartar and sing also. So these activities in and of themselves are not very difficult to perform. So what makes these bhakti yoga activities difficult for even jnanis and yogis and karmis is they may be able to do these activities externally, but they are unable to bring their faith and their consciousness. And they are not able to bring that. That is why they are stuck in their false ego and intelligence and mind and senses. So as devotees, that's where we have an opportunity to perform bhakti yoga, provided we are able to pay attention to this. I read further. Why should?
Why should a temple leader have to nag and correct
And choirs.
reluctant persons to take part in such blissful morning practices? He shouldn't. Therefore, unless a person rises early and attends the morning program, he shouldn't live in a temple. In writing to one temple president, Srila Prabhupada asserted that attendance at Mangalarti and chanting of 16 rounds were the most important points of the Krishna consciousness process. But make it so that people may not think too repressive, they will not go away. Impressive but not repressive. That is the system.
Yeah. What Prabhupada is saying, the leader should be intelligent to make the program very interesting and enlivening. So what are some of the ways you can make the Mangalarti a enlivening experience for all the devotees? So that next day morning they will want to come again. Anybody? What are some of the things you can do? Yeah? Deities can be decorated very beautifully and brilliantly lit up. Huh? And nice prasad, okay? Nice prasad. And then? We can give some gifts to them, okay?
Nice Katha Bhagavatam Katha.
Nice Bhagavat, very nicely realized devotee speaks, and then people are spiritually enlivened. Huh? Ecstasy in kirtan. The kirtan singer should be a very nice singer, lead singer, and the mridangam and kartal players should be good players. And the meter is so beautifully coming out, and everybody religious singing and dancing. Huh? What else? Temple should be so spick and span, so neat and clean that anybody who comes there feels it's a soothing experience, and they want to come again and again. Yes? Personalized care, yes, for every individual devotee who comes. Devotees are respected and welcomed, appreciated. They may come. Yeah. Devotees should be encouraging each other. Perform sadhana, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Mm.
Thank you very much. From the receiver point of view, here receiver is like the devotees who are participating,
Mm.
and from the giver, that is management or the leader, so to say. From the receiver perspective, he expects all these things to happen.
Mm.
And from the leader's perspective, they feel that we will do our optimum. So from the receiver always expects more. Whatever feels is there, he feels like some people, they feel it is not customized for me. I still need more. This kind of consciousness. Leaders say that, okay, this is what I can do. So everyone will give their own argument.
Correct.
And then, but then sometimes we see that the overall nourishment is not happening.
Mm.
So how do we understand in this?
Actually, from a receiver side, what I feel we should do, we should not keep much expectations from anybody. In fact, when I am coming to the morning program, I should be grateful in my heart that, oh, Krishna, thank you, I got an opportunity to, in this place, there's a deity available, and the deities are being worshipped, and Mangalarti is being sung, so I can also hook in, connect here, and I can take advantage of this ambience. Singer may be a sweet singer or not so sweet singer. Mridangam players may not be there, only kartal may be going on, and not a problem. And temple may be a small, like a go down, not too much place, not big place. Then may not be full prasad, there may be only some dona prasad, little bit at the end. Some little round prasad they may give. Typically in India, many places they give. That may be given. But I am not coming for any of this. I am actually coming because I get a chance to bow down before the Lord. Krishna says, Namasyantashcha mam bhaktya. He says, Namaskuru. So I can bow down to Krishna. I can remember my spiritual master. I can remember Srila Prabhupada. And I can express my gratitude to Lord and the devotees. And in this way of connecting to the Sangha, it helps me to practice the spiritual limbs that I've learned in Prabhupada books. So I'm very grateful for this environment. Like that one should think individually. But what I asked was from the organizer's point of view, the more they make it merrier and sweeter and blissful, then the number of people coming may increase over time. Initially 4 or 5 are coming, they'll become 40, 50. Eventually, people may come. And one of the most important points which has not yet come in our discussion is the prominent leaders should be visibly seen to be enthusiastically participating. Hmm. For example, it was happening in one of our student centers. The morning, they will do the japa, and when the Mangalarti will start, some 4 or 5 of the prominent leaders will go to another room for a meeting. You know, they would go there because they have to make some plan for the evening festival or something. When they 4 or 5 people go, another 10, 15 boys also will go to their rooms because they know that the leaders are not there. So the Mangalarti is not going to be very thrilling because leaders are all gone to some other room for a meeting. And they will say that I will also go and do my studies or I will do something else. Huh? But if they see that the leaders are themselves standing right in the front, and they're dancing, and they're taking part in all the programs, like up to the Tulsi Aarti fully, then the people are very inspired. But there is one challenge in that because leaders always have to take care of themselves also and also plan also and organize also. They have a load of work to do. At the same time, they wonder how I can, do everything. Hmm. So one of the things that I do is we can even compromise on organizing, managing, planning, but our personal presence in spiritual activities is very vital for inspiring the other people because more things are caught than taught. Uh, People will see that. Like, uh, Japa time, when we sit and chant with all, then the other people think, oh, I think the japa is a very important thing. Otherwise, the leader has thrown away his computer and all other management is not doing anything. Japa means it's fully sitting and chanting. Then they will take it seriously. Once my spiritual master was giving a lecture in one temple. They told him to speak on the morning program. He said, during the Mangala Aarti time, if you are sleeping in the ashram, you are loudly preaching. Don't come for Mangala Aarti. It is boring. Like that he was speaking very strongly. And then he was telling if the devotees who have spent many, many years, if they don't show enthusiasm in these programs, then people will generally think that, for some years you have to attend till you are a kid. Now you are not a kid anymore. Now you are grown up now. So you are not expected to go. Like one senior devotee was telling, Prabhuji, I don't have to go to Bhagavatam class. Some young devotee is giving. Anybody can attend. As far as I am concerned, I am reading all the advanced commentaries and everything. I'm not there. So then when he did that, then all his counselees also will not attend. They will say, Yata Raja, Yata Praja. They will just copy it. So this is the most challenging thing in most of the places. That the senior devotees who are mentors, who are bringing the people, they have to enthusiastically take part. Now one is physically being present in the morning. That's one thing. And the second thing is not just physically present, but enthusiastically singing and taking part wholeheartedly, dancing. So all those, then only the Mangalarti is a very enlivening program. For most young devotees, when they see their own senior uh, taking part, that is very memorable for them. I'll just show you one. Speaker only is good. Yeah. Epson?
Second.
Now you cut that. I'll put it. Here is no sound is not coming. P.T. Swami is a great dancer, no? So, actually, these things devotees will not forget for whole life if they watch such a dance, isn't it? So, the morning program will be very impressive if the temple leaders are themselves strictly participating and also feeling some of the happy mood of the Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, the programs have to be performed in a very happy mood. It is not a ritual. Huh? It's a spiritual thing. It's not a ritual. Huh? It is not a routine. Huh? We are supposed to come for the morning program, so we are here. What to do? They take attendance or whatever. Huh? So if one is giving the heart to participating like this, then it will be a very memorable experience for everybody. And then he's saying, read this, but if despite, read this one.
The morning program.
No, but if despite.
But if despite good example and precept, someone else doesn't care to participate in the most required morning practices, then that person is unfit to live in the temple. In an anxiety to recruit new full-time members, the temple authorities should not bring in persons who are not advanced enough to voluntarily attend the morning program.
We should be at least advanced in spiritual life to such a degree that we don't have to be pushed too much or cajoled too much to come for the morning. Huh? Advanced devotee means one who has a natural inclination, voluntary inclination to attend. That is a sign of advancement, not the number of years, not that somebody is Brahman initiated, not that somebody is a big preacher. Actually, there are preachers, they do Bhagavad Katha for 7 days, and the evening, the 20,000 people, 10,000 people come. But you will not find them in morning program. You will see the night, they will go up to 10:30, 11, and then talk to people till 12 o'clock or something. They'll go and sleep. Morning, they'll get up at 8 o'clock. And after that, they take a bath. They may chant some rounds, and daytime they prepare a lot, to speak. And then evening again, Katha. They're in big grounds they give. And the people also come to Katha and go back. These guys give Katha and go back. Nobody's heart transformed. They just remain as it is. But Prabhupada is not happy with such arrangement. Prabhupada said actually, the speaker of the Bhagavatam and the hearers of the Bhagavatam, even if it is a small number, they have to actually commit their hearts and lives for Krishna. Yes, ma'am, you have a question? Give the mic to her. Mic is coming.
Generally, the devotees who come newly, because they are into the magic of morning program. So they generally don't skip. Only some of us who get used to the magic and then we don't realize its speciality, we tend to skip. So the new people are always very enthusiastic. Actually, being with them, we also feel so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
But this complacency that creeps in slowly, how do we fight that, Prabhu?
That's a very important question. You see, as we proceed in the number of years, what keeps us enlivened in Krishna consciousness is not the externals. For example, I may get a post, I may get a car, I may get some, rewards. These things are very much observed and glorified by the outside world. Say my Instagram posting went to 1 million or 2 million. In outside world may glorify. That's not going to satisfy the soul. Right now? So, the external rewards are kept apart. What nourishes the soul and satisfies the soul is our inner development. Inner development of the soul's relationship with Krishna and the soul's development of relationship with Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, all the three. For example, if I could do some Guhyamakyati Prichati with another devotee in a very meaningful manner, like Ramananda Rai Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Guhyamakyati Prichati, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sarvam Bhattacharya, or a very sweet exchange between Advaita Acharya Prabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Right now? Or Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur sitting in Siddha Bakul. Very nice exchange they had. So, or Rupa Goswami hearing from Lord Chaitanya and the Shashmeda Ghat. Like that. So these are all exchanges which produce a very deep impression in our system. When you had a very nice, loving exchange, or you asked questions and you got the correct answers, and then you find with the seniors, with the equals, and with juniors, when there is a Krishna conscious exchange, it's purely on the platform of soul and consciousness. It is not external. There is no money involved. There is no external name, fame, glory involved. There are no strings attached. There's nothing conditional. It's purely on a platform of consciousness and soul. Then those kind of exchanges very much nourish the soul and give. Just like, for example, you are very hungry. You ate a big plate of Mahaprasad, you feel satisfied. Like that, the soul feels satisfaction. When we commit little bit, then Krishna also gives some reciprocation to that in the form of understanding of some deep pastime, understanding of some fine lesson from a pastime, which just pops up in our mind. Like he says, Swayameva Suratyadaha. Surti means actually Krishna awakens the realization in our heart. So when Krishna conscious realization awakens, Krishna conscious taste awakens in the soul's consciousness, or very nice Guhyamakyati Prichati, that exchange helped you, or you are undergoing a very challenging situation and then you experience a very strong shelter, safety, security and shelter in a Vaishnava's association. So these are things that produces priceless jewels of realization. So the joy that comes in that. So when Radharani mercifully looks at us and cleanses our heart, and then we will see that by the service we render, by the Shastric study we do, the soul should be nourished. And the soul's nourishment comes from the consciousness development. See, when we talk about consciousness development, just as for example, our bodily development. A small baby cannot lift a big suitcase. Correct, no? Now you are grown up. You are 25, 30. Then you can lift a suitcase when you're climbing up the steps in the railway station. A small kid can at the most try to hold on to the side and try to climb up the steps. Correct, no? If he climbs up himself, it's a big thing. What is big of carrying a suitcase, isn't it? He can't do that. Similarly, in spiritual life also, just as our material body develops more strength and stamina, it's the same manner in the spiritual life, the spirit soul develops the consciousness. uh. So when the proportion of consciousness increment and development is like the physical body development, which is observable externally, like that. And once the consciousness is developed, what is the proof that a devotee has enhanced one's consciousness? And one's taste in Krishna consciousness shoots up very much. And one's confidence, one's courage in the practices increases. And one doesn't look for petty prizes of this material world. Like, whether I'm given a post or I'm not given a post, I will enter the service. Whether, my name comes or my name doesn't come, I will do the seva. I'm doing it for Guru's pleasure, Krishna's pleasure. Yeah, somebody insulted me, somebody praised me, makes no difference. In this world, man apaman is very common. You ignore the dualities around you. You ignore the pleasurable prizes and gifts given in this world, honor and everything. So nothing matters to you. So how do you know nothing matters to you? Because a person is not attracted to these things when that consciousness development happens. So those who are spiritually evolved, their absorption is in, Vaishnava Seva, Krishna Seva, Amiruchi, Jivadaya, these kind of activities. So then with that kind of development of soul's consciousness, then the morning program becomes more and more relishable, even after many, many years of performing. Because what makes it boring is a material outlook. Because in this material world, why we get distaste in any material activity? Because the the nature of matter is, initially it will be attractive, eventually it will become boring, hackneyed. The chapala sukha and correct, and bhoga tyag. Two things he says in the Bhakti Sam Sindhu, correct, no? Chapala sukha means like chewing gum, very, very fragrant and tasty in the beginning. But after some period of time it becomes chava, 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 no more taste. It goes away. So that's the nature of material pleasures. And bhoga tyag means in the material life, first we enjoy, then we get suffering, then you go to tyag. Then you again go to bhog and tyag. It's like a pendulum. Whereas in the spiritual path, you neither do bhog nor do tyag, you do seva. Correct, no? And if seva is done in a proper state of consciousness, it is not chapala sukh, it's amrita sukh. Amrita means it's amritam. So that never dies. Like here, Prabhupada says in one of the very, very beautiful purport Prabhupada has given in the Bhagavatam. I'll just show you that. Let's repeat the verse. Sakatam sevaya tasya kalena jarasam gataha prishto vartam prati bruyat bhartu padavanusmaran. Yeah, can you read the translation, one of you? Yes.
Devatas served the Lord continuously from childhood, and in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened.
See?
As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him.
Can you read this one?
Transcendental service to the Lord is not mundane. The service attitude of the devotee gradually increases and never becomes slackened. Generally, in old age, a person is allowed retirement from mundane service. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age.
Yeah. So with our progressing age, if a devotee may not be able to physically do certain services. For example, His Holiness Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, and our Srila Prabhupada, they both had a long talk in the night time in the rooftop. And next day morning, when the brahmacharis went for Harinam Sankirtan, they both also longed to go, But he had arthritis, so he can't walk properly. He had a difficulty. But then they both sat in a rickshaw, And the rickshaw took them to the marketplace. And brahmacharis are doing dancing and singing kirtan, and these two great souls are watching and clapping hands. That goes to show their body is not cooperating, but their hearts are longing. That's what he is saying here. Huh? Generally, in old age, a person is allowed to retirement from mundane service, but in transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all, he's saying. The service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age, which means they may not be dancing in the kirtan, but their souls are dancing. Huh? Their hearts are dancing. You can see that. They have enthusiasm. They are not saying, oh no, I have arthritis, I'm sleeping in the ashram. He's not saying, no. It's that the longing is there, eagerness is there. Yeah. And then in the transcendental service,
Transcendental service.
there is no satiation.
In the transcendental service, there is no satiation.
Satiation means saturation. For example, gulab jamun, eat 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you eat after that, it becomes saturated. The taste buds become flat. But in spiritual life, there is nothing like a saturation. Yeah, go ahead.
There is no retirement. Materially, when a man becomes tired by entering service in his physical body, allowed retirement. But in the transcendental service, there is no feeling of fatigue because it is spiritual service and is not on the bodily plane. Service on the bodily plane dwindles as the body grows older, but the spirit is never old, and therefore, on the spiritual plane, the service is never tiresome.
Actually, whenever consciousness is evolved spiritually, because the soul is delighting in it, the service is never tiring. Body and mind follows the soul. It is never tiring. Please read this one. Uddhava.
Uddhava undoubtedly became old, but that does not mean that his spirit became old. His service attitude matured on the transcendental plane, and therefore, as soon as he was questioned by Vidra about Lord Krishna, he at once remembered his Lord by reference to the context and forgot himself on the physical plane. That is a sign of pure devotional service to the Lord, as will be explained later on. Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya, etc. in Lord Kapila's instructions to his mother Devahuti.
Yeah, he never said, I'm an old man, you're asking a big question, it'll take me time to answer. He didn't say. The more he got older, Uddhava, the more his love of God became more and more manifest and became enthusiastic. He didn't need the retirement from the devotional service, he says. So, that was Mataji's question was a very important question. As we all spend more years in the moment, the series of spiritual activities we do in the morning can become sometimes stereotyped or boring because we have done the same thing for 20, 30, 40 years. But if consciousness is involved, every song we sing, for example, Samsara Dava you sang before, 10 years before or 20 years before. Now, if relationship is developed more, then you can sing the song with more awareness and consciousness, like Tulasi also. Tulasi, what you knew about Tulasi 20 years is not the same as what you know now. In the same manner, Guru Puja you are singing. When you came as newcomer, your understanding and relationship with Prabhupada was very meager at that time. Now your relationship with Prabhupada is thicker and you feel for him. So when you... See this one. It was so heart melting when I saw it yesterday. I'll put it.
That don't be satisfied that you have understood. That's all. No. This should be distributed. Just like in my old days, I've come to a country carrying the order of my spiritual master to distribute. You are all young boys and girls. Take this message and distribute. The whole suffering humanity will be happy. That is our mission. Thank you.
Amazing, no? It's so pleasing. It's just a small clip it is, So it's just less than a minute, you see. But when you see it, it will touch your heart very deeply. To the degree you have developed a relationship with Prabhupada, and then, So when each of these personalities whom we are adoring in the morning, to the degree our relationship is developed, the songs we sing and the prayers we offer, they will not be stereotyped. Therefore the spirit is ever conscious. It is very, very conscious, and it never becomes just like a flower in the morning is fresh, but evening it gets dried. But the spirit's consciousness never dries like that. It's ever fresh. It is. Yeah, please go ahead. Where were we? Of course.
Of course. We work very hard just to get someone to come to the platform of devotee of Krishna. So we shall not be too much hasty to drive anyone out. Therefore, we may forgive once, twice, but more than that, we must take other steps. So if any new candidate for devotee comes forward, you may test him very thoroughly to understand from him if he is ready to fully accept our strict standard of temple living. Let him understand that it is not an arbitrary or whimsical decision on our parts to become like military camp. Rather, we are strictly adhering to our devotional principles only so that we may take advancement in Krishna consciousness and be protected from the attack of Maya.
Yeah. So the morning program, it is not just like the march past of military soldiers. You dance in a certain format, going forward, backward, or going in the side. It's very good. Format is very attractive to see. At the same time, it is not just an external performance. Sometimes the youngsters come from the colleges, they get into more kind of athletic dancing, moving the hand in certain manner and everything. Correct, no? They get into kind of external, some, what do you call it, acrobatics or some kind of, aerobics, yeah. Aerobics, some kind of, in fact, this, one of the temples I heard, they have even a show in the shopping mall also. They prepare the boys and girls to dance in certain formations. What do you call that? Correct. Flash mob, yeah. They call it flash mob. They call it Govinda Bolo Hari Gopala Bolo, that kind of, they dance. And then a lot of people watch it, because these guys are trained guys to dance. There's certain formations in which they dance. Simply dancing like that, our consciousness doesn't develop. So, therefore, many times the consciousness aspect is forgotten. Externally, people catch many things. But without the conscious development, the taste won't come. So one time I thought deeply about this. Who are the personalities we are adoring in the morning? So in the morning, the spiritual master and the Srila Prabhupada and the Panchatattva, correct, no? Personalities. Then Lord Narasimha and Prahalad. And then Tulsi Maharani. Then our Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, correct, no? And Srimad Bhagavatam. So now what we can do, we have to check whether our study of the Shastras and Prabhupada books and everything is also contributing to our faith development in these items. Because to the degree your faith is developed in these items, then you can also give your heart. Correct, no? But sometimes what happens, I am observing, in our Shastric study and everything, we get into many, many details. For example, there are different type of avatars, and first canto, third chapter, elaborately is given. So sometimes, or we go to Vedic cosmologies, there's so much of details are there. So many times we get into details. At the same time, I won't say details are not important. We have to study all the Prabhupada books. But the goal should be faith development. Shraddhavan Janahe, Shraddhavan Janahe says. The Shraddha should be developed in such a manner that, like a child's firm faith in the mother, that's what keeps the child very firmly situated in the shelter of the mother, correct, no? Yeah. So Prabhupada is saying that we should make it very clear to all the people that we are doing all this for the advancement in Krishna consciousness, and we can become immune to Maya, we can become protected from Maya. Like vaccination against Maya, correct, no? Like you have seen the bulletproof jeep. Bullet cannot enter inside. Like that, when you do the morning program, we get a bulletproof kavach. Like that. Go ahead.
At the heart of the morning program is the recitation and lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam is an eternal process, and on this planet, it has been going on for at least 5,000 years. Ever since Shukadeva Goswami explained it to Maharaj Parikshit, but the specific format of the Srimad Bhagavatam class the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement follow was introduced by Srila Prabhupada.
I'm very much stressing at this point that all of my students shall be very much conversant with the philosophy of Krishna consciousness and that they should read our books very diligently, at least 1 or 2 hours daily, and try to understand the subject matter from various varieties of angles. We are holding our morning class here in Los Angeles in the temple, and I'm speaking from 7 to 8 a.m. And the process is that we are going through some chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam by taking one shloka each day and reading the Sanskrit aloud. Each word is pronounced by me and repeated by the students, and then all together we chant the shloka several times until we have learned it. And then we discuss the subject matter very minutely and inspect it from all angles of approach and savor the new understandings. So you introduce this system in all of the centers in your zone, and you will discover that everyone becomes very much enlivened by these daily classes. Read one shloka and discuss, and then go on to the next sloka on the next day, and so on. And even you discuss one verse each day, it will take you 50 years to finish Srimad Bhagavatam in this way. So we have got ample stock of acquiring knowledge. And if the students get knowledge more and more, they will automatically become convinced and very easily perform their duties for tapasya or renunciation of the material bondage. And that will be their successful advancement in Krishna consciousness.
See, two things happens. If Bhagavatam is studied properly, the result of Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sagitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam. He says, what is that famous verse? Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyamekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sagitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam Tatshanman Supathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyen Naraha. So the third line is saying Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Naishkarmya. Bhagavatam awards 4 gifts. That means if somebody is hearing Bhagavatam well, the Bhakti Bhava has to develop. And the Vairagya from unwanted material attachments to the world. And the Jnana should arise. Nishkama Karma. So in this way, the tapasya renunciation is a very natural concomitant result. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam. Both are coming. Jnanam and Vairagyam when one reads Bhagavatam. So now our performance of the morning program also is done, as I told you, with consciousness. That consciousness, where does it come from? It manifests from the Bhagavatam. So I will show you one interesting article. This is from one of my Special Master's lectures recently he gave. Culture and conduct of. So I'll show you one section of this. See what he says here. When you show proper Vaishnava etiquette of the between speaker and hearers, then Krishna manifests. And by that the spiritual potency manifests. Then our heart gets purified and we get realized, he says. These are the steps, which means there is no proper etiquettes. Something wonderful cannot happen there. So here if you see, please read this.
Without the proper observance of Vaishnava etiquette, even the highest knowledge, the greatest scholarship will not have the proper effect. Because when we are discussing Krishna conscious subject matter, it is the presence of Krishna, the advent of Krishna into that sound vibration that gives it potency, that transforms the heart and purifies the minds of both the speaker and the hearer. It is not something material.
So here is a very, very deep point he is mentioning, that the speaker is speaking Bhagavatam, hearer is hearing. You all know that within Bhagavatam itself it is mentioned what type of attitude the hearer should have in the speaker, and speaker should have towards the hearers, correct? No? Like the hearing should be done with great Shraddha, correct? Shinvata, Shraddhaya, Nityam, Granatascha, Svacheshtitam, Kalena Nati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. That's one verse. And then it also talks about Shushtrusho Shraddhadanasya, Vasudeva Katharuchi, Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra, Punyatirthan Shevanat. When service to great souls is rendered, then one's Katharuchi increases by that. He says, another was Uchishtalepaan Anumodito Vijay, Taksma punje tadapasta kilbishaha. Evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasaha. Tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate. So when he accepted the Uchishta of those Bhaktivedantas, three things happened to him. He says that uh, uh, Sakritsmad Bhunje Tadapasta Kilvisha. He says all sinful reactions were eradicated and Vishuddha Chetana came up and Ruchi for hearing Vasudev Katha increased. Three things happened to him. He says, the Narada boy says that. Huh? That means increasing Vasudev Katha Ruchi is done by service to the great souls. And service is done in two ways. One is you render physical service. Somebody is driving a car, somebody is getting something from the market, somebody is preparing his bedding, somebody is cooking for him. These are physical services. Huh? Then another service is done by very attentively hearing the general instructions and specific instructions and service-related instructions. When one is hearing and then implementing those instructions in one's life, then and pleases the Vaishnava. By that kind of pleasing the Vaishnava, then our heart gets purified, as he says here. And then not only our heart gets purified, the purified heart undergoes transformation. Like a cruel Migari becomes compassionate Migari. Little arrogant Rahugana became humble Rahugana. That means the heart is purified. What is the result of purification? Transformation. Like earlier, somebody was egotistic. But now, after hearing from a saintly person, one has become repentant. He is no more egotistic. He feels that, oh, I never knew that I am doing a mistake. Now I realized it. That one becomes repentant. Rather than, instead of proving I am right, he goes into a mode of I want to improve now. Not prove. Correct. Now from prove to improve. So in this way, you find a change of heart. That means purified heart undergoes change, transformation. If somebody's heart is as solid as a stone, it doesn't change. That means what has not taken place? Transformation has taken place. But prior to transformation, one more thing I say. Purification. Purification has not taken place. That means holding on to false ego. He is not ready to give up that. So therefore, the purification and heart transformation are the result of hearing a Bhagavatam lecture where the speaker and hearer, their attitudes are so perfect that Krishna likes to manifest. For example, a hearer should not ask questions in a mood of superiority. Like he says, absurd questions and blind following, both are condemned. Prabhupada says in 4.34. Correct, no? And also, the goal of questioning is for personal application, and it is not for display of one's knowledge. So this kind of things, attitude of the speaker. And also, the hearer should not think, I already know everything. Then he is like a glass upside down. You cannot pour any milk in that. All milk will go away. And a speaker and a hearer whose heart is longing for spiritual shelter and inspiration, that's like a glass where he can pour milk. Like that. So the hearer has many qualifications. Similarly, speaker also, the speaker should speak in Guru Parampara. He cannot speak anything capriciously, whimsically. It is mentioned. So in the same manner, the speaker should have an attitude of respect for the audience also. Like how Suta Goswami had a great respect for Shaunakadi rishis. Like that. Like Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit are mutually appreciating one another. Parikshit is saying, I am a Chatra Bandhu. And then you are a very great soul. And although I am so fallen, you have come to give me your association. Like that he says. What is that famous verse? Vayam dhanyatama guru api ksatra bandavaha vayam pibamo muhustvattas punyam krishna kata muhuhu, he says. Last verse of one of the chapters. And the next chapter beginning, our Shukadeva Goswami is telling another verse. Sadhu prishtam mahabhaga Tvaya bhagavatottamaha yannutanayasi ishasya shrunnunapi katamahu is saying that Parikshit is saying, I am a Chatrabandhu, but I am not just Dhanya. I am Dhanya, Dhanyatara, Dhanyatama. To hear Krishna Katha itself is Dhanya, and hearing from a pure devotee and repeatedly hearing. So he is considering it a great blessing. And Shukadeva Goswami is telling that you are a Mahabhagavat, Bhagavata Uttama, is saying. Yan nutanayasi ishasya. This Bhagavad Gita appears ever fresh for you. You never think you already know it. Like that he says. So in this way, they both have a mutual great appreciation. I read just for the highlighted portion when we discuss.
When we discuss Bhagavad philosophy,
Here one more point is saying, in the material university, if a teacher simply knows his subject and speaks it, and the student is willing to listen, then some learning takes place. But when we discuss
Bhagavad philosophy, we are not concerned with simply learning. We are concerned with purification and realization, and that purification and realization can only take place when Krishna, personally, by his own sweet will, appears within that transcendental sound.
my God, you heard this. Huh? Generally, in the colleges, you are only concerned about learning. There was one professor who will have a cigarette in one hand and chalk piece on the other. You know? He'll be smoking in the class and writing on the board. See, that is allowed in the material learning. Huh? In America, people say, may say that Prabhupada quotes this one place. He says that somebody may say, as long as you can deliver the subject, don't see whether he's smoking or drinking or he has some character issues with woman. Don't talk about that because he's at least delivering the goods. But Prabhupada says that doesn't work in Vedic life. Huh? In Vedic life, character is more important than skills. Like you may be a good teacher, but if your character is flawed character, you cannot be a teacher in Vedic life. Huh? So therefore, first thing is saying, when we discuss Bhagavad philosophy, we are not concerned simply with learning the knowledge in the book. We are concerned with what that knowledge does to you. It has to purify. And when the heart is purified, realization dawns, and the realization leads to transformation of heart. So how does it happen? For example, Mrigari heard from Narada about not half killing the animals, and then what happens when you kill them, how much they feel pain and everything. Lord's devotee never injures other creatures. So realization dawned in his heart that everybody is ultimately, like Krishna says, Aham Bija, Radha Pita. Once the realization dawned in his heart, then there was a transformation. He stopped being cruel. Arjuna also, when the knowledge dawned in his heart, then he agreed to fight the battle. So therefore he says that, and that can only take place when Krishna, by his own sweet will, appears within that transcendental sound, he says. That means the real purifier is who? Super soul. Correct, no? Srinvatam, Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridayantastohi Abhadrani Vidhunoti. Who does that Vidhunoti? The super soul, Paramatma. And when does he do? When we become truthful devotees, Satam. When I am a sincere and truthful devotee, then Paramatma, seeing my sincerity, becomes pleased with my sincerity. Then he cleanses the heart. That means he agrees to manifest in that sound vibration by the speaker. And the hearer's attitude is correct, speaker's attitude is correct, then Krishna manifests. Example is given in the 11th canto. You take one arani stick in the top, arani stick in the bottom, and you rub both of them, then the fire comes. So and that fire is compared to the enlightenment given by the guru to the disciple. So guru is happy, disciple is happy, both become blissful. By that, guru is the top stick, arani stick, and disciple is bottom arani stick. And then the rubbing produces the fire. This example is given in 11th canto. You will read this. So similarly, when a guru and disciple, they both have a very proper attitude and qualities given, then Krishna is like that fire who manifests in that dialogue. Then that gives great bliss to both, like Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. They both were actually praising one another, correct, no? That's actually the kind of consciousness they carried was very extraordinary. You see, I'll show you a part of it. This is Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, there are also other Brahmins who couldn't understand the dialogue. But here you find that Mahaprabhu, see, he's saying, Rai gahe sarvama kare vrite jnana parokshe hamore hite haya savadhana Tara kripaya painu tomara darshana आज सफल हैला मोरा मनुष्य जन्म. I am Britya, servant of Sarva. Is he a servant? What is he? His friend. He's friend of Sarva. But what is he claiming himself to be? He's saying, I am actually a servant of, but he remembered me. And therefore, he has sent you to me, and so I'm getting your darshan. Tomara kripa paino. Safala haila mora manusya janma, he is saying. Sarvabhaume tomara kripa tare chinha. Asprishya sparshile haya tara prema dhina. He is considering himself asprishya. I am unfit to be touched. I am untouchable. Because why? I am born in a Shudra family, and I am also a politician and governor of Madras. So in this way, my position is very low in front of someone like you. You are a Dvijasreshta and you are a sannyasi also. And you are coming and touching me. And now I understand why you are touching me, he says. Because for you, Sarvabhauma is very dear to you. And because he is very dear to you, when you came to know that I am very dear to him, you are embracing me. Just like, for example, if you have a sister and sister has a small baby, your affection for the baby comes out because of your affection for the sister, isn't it? Like that. He's saying that because of my connection to him, you are embracing me like this. Kahan tumhi sakshat Ishwara Narayana. Kahan mui rajasevi vishayi shudradama. Aman istarite tomari agamana. Parama dayalu tumi patita pavana. You see, where are you and where am I? You are Sakshat Supreme Lord, and I am a government servant, and I am a sense gratifier, and a fallen Shudra. Like that he's saying. See, from this what we understand, the attitude of Ramanandra is one of great humility, despite possessing the greatest qualification. Just like Rup Sanatan. Correct, no? How he claims himself to be so fallen. And not only he is claiming to be fallen, he also has a lot of respect for his friend, Sarvabhaumacharya also. Like that. Amara Sange Brahmanadi Sahasre Kajan. Tomara Darshane Savar Dravi Bhutaman. Krishna Krishna Nama Shuni Savara Vadane. Savaranga Pulakita Shrunayane. See, here there are 1,000 Brahmanas and other servants have come with me. I am going for bathing now. Generally, when the kings go for bathing, many Brahmanas chant Vedic mantras and some singers, bards sing songs, others play instruments and all. So he goes with 1,000 people to the riverside to take bath. So, and then he is saying, but by your darshan, all of them, Dravi Bhutaman, their hearts have become melted. Therefore, they were looking at you, Krishna, 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 like that they are chanting. And I can clearly hear them chanting Krishna's names because of having seen you. These fellows have become ecstatic, like that he is telling. And then Prabhu is going to speak now, Mahaprabhu. Prabhu kahe tumi maha bhagavatottama. Tumhara darshane sabar drava hailamana. Anyera ki katami mayavadi sannyasi. Amiha tomara sparshe Krishna preme bhasi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, hey, you are a Mahabhagavat Uttama. Uttam Mahabhagavat. You are calling yourself Shudra, Adama, Asprishya and all these things. What story are you telling me? Tomara darshane sabara dravahailamana. Having seen you, all these 1,000 people, their hearts are softening, seeing your bhakti bhava. Anyar ki katami. How can they become attracted by my bhakti? I am not a very big bhakta. I am a Mayavadi sannyasi. Like that, who is saying? Mahaprabhu is saying. Not only that, now that I embraced you, suddenly I have become Krishna conscious by touching you. I also have become Krishna conscious. Even all the Brahmanas have become Krishna conscious like that. All are chanting Krishna's name is saying. Ye jani katina mora hridaya shodite. Sarvabhauma kahilen tomara milite. Ei mata duhe stuti kare duhara guna. Duhe duhara darshane anandita mana. He's saying, Sarvabhaumacharya saw that I have a very hard heart. and he felt pity for me. He wanted to help me soften my heart and purify my heart. Therefore, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told me that anyway you're going to South India, go and get your heart softened. By whom? By meeting Ramananda Rai. Like that, therefore I have come to you. Like that Mahaprabhu said. And yehi mata duhe stuti kare duhara guna. They both were praising each other's sublime qualities back and forth. And in that kind of glorification, it was not flattery. It was purely straight from the heart. It's a reverence and feeling they had for each other. So Ananditamana, they both became blissful by such praise. Raya kahe iha ami kichu na jani. Tumi ye kaha o se kahi ami mani. Tumhara shikshaya padi yena shuka path. साक्षात ईश्वर तुम्ही के बुझे तुम्हारा नाट. I don't know anything. My Lord, what are you saying? That Sarvabhauma has told about me. I don't know anything. In case I am able to speak some Krishna Katha, that is simply because you are making me speak those things. I am only like a parrot. And a parrot will say whatever you teach it. If you tell the parrot, Hare Krishna, then it will learn how to say Hare Krishna, that's all. You are Sakshat Ishwar. Why are you doing this drama with me? Why? Because, see, our Ramananda Rai is Arjun in the mood of Vishaka Sakhi. And Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in the mood of Radharani. So it is like a meeting between, Krishna and Arjuna, or like Radharani and Vishaka, or like Krishna and Vishaka. That kind of meeting it is. So Arjuna is wondering, hey, earlier I asked a question and you answered in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now you are saying you will ask me a question and I have to answer. Therefore he is asking, Ke bujhe tumhara naat? He is asking, why are you doing this drama? Like that he is saying. And then Mahaprabhu says, Sarvabhauma sange mora mana nirmahaila. Krishna bhakti tatpakaha tahare puchila. In the association of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, my heart became purified. Whose heart became purified? Everybody knows. Bhattacharya's heart became purified by Mahaprabhu's association. Mahaprabhu says opposite. You will see that. This is the way the ecstatic bhaktas speak like this. It's very amazing. When Sanatana Goswami came and told Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, he was carrying a blanket, correct, no? Later on, Mahaprabhu was staring at it. Then he went and gave it to one beggar and got a torn quilt, And Mahaprabhu saw that, he said, the last shred of material attachment is finished. Like that he said. And then Mahaprabhu said, Lord Krishna has been very merciful upon you. And he told Raghunathdas also like that. He has delivered you from the great material attachments of this world. At that time, Raghunathdas said, my dear Lord, you are saying Krishna has delivered me. I don't know who Krishna is. I only know your mercy. So you see their mood and bhava and attitude. See, this kind of reverence is there. And this kind of appreciation is there. That is what invites Krishna to come. Teho kahe ami nahi jani Krishna katha. Sabe Ramananda jane teho nahi ye tha. Bhattacharya told me, ami nahi jani Krishna katha. I don't know any Krishna katha, but all Krishna katha is known to one of my friends in South India near the Godavari bank. His name is Ramananda Rai. Lekin teho nahi ye tha. He is not in Jagannath Puri now. Otherwise, I would have put you in touch with him. Now that you are going to South India, definitely go and meet him. And then, here he says, Krishna Bhakti Tattva kaha. So he can tell you about Krishna Bhakti Tattva. Tomara tai aila, tomara mahima shuniya. Tumi more stuti kara sannyasi janiya. Kiva vipra ki banyasi shudra kena noi. Ye Krishna Tattva Veta se Guru Haya. Yadyapi Raya Premi Mahavagavate. Tara Mana Krishna Maya Nare Achadite. Tatapi prabhura icha parama prabala. Janile harayara mana haila thalamala. See, Ramandra was a Premi Bhakta. He was a Mahabhagavat. Huh? And Krishna's Maya cannot cover him. What is the meaning of that? He cannot be put in illusion to think that Mahaprabhu is just ordinary human being. Huh? He clearly knows he's Krishna only. So naturally he has reverence for Krishna. How can somebody who is a servant of Krishna, give upadesh to Krishna? Huh? So he cannot do that. But still he understood. Tatapi prabhura icha parama prabhala. Mahaprabhu's desire to hear from Ramananda Rai was so strong. Huh? He really was convinced that I want to ask questions to him and he will answer. Jani Leha, she understood that. Because of understanding that, mana highlight talamala, he felt some agitation in the mind. Because you feel uneasy, isn't it? Recently, I was in IIT Bombay. There was a public lecture there for about 150 students. It was only Radheshyam Maharaj was giving. So Maharaj spoke about 45 minutes and took some question answer 15 minutes. After 1 hour, so Maharaj was telling, you see, all of you are technical students. I am not so technical. I am a school dropout. He was telling, here is Radheshyam. He is from your institute only. He's M.Tech, and there is Gaurahari. Gaurahari Prabhu has been chosen as one of the top 100 people in, you heard that? This thing has come in the entire world in AI field. They have chosen the top 100 people who have contributed the most in AI field. He's also one of them recently. So Maharaj said he's a Gaurahari Prabhu. They're all technically sound people. If you hear them, you'll be more convinced about the topic I was speaking. Like that he was telling. And then he called me, Radheshyam, come. You also speak few minutes, said. So I was very much embarrassed to speak. So I was telling them that I am like a lamp and he is like a sun. What can a lamp do in front of the sun? But still, because he's ordering me to speak, so I will speak. So I spoke a little bit, maybe 5-6 minutes I spoke. Then Gaurahari Prabhu spoke 5-6 minutes. So when, so at the end, while going, when we were leaving, some of the boys were gathering us, crowding us. One boy came and told me that although many things were spoken, I can't remember everything. But one thing I very much remember is what you said about you and your guru. You said you are like a lamp, he is like a sun. My Lord, he said, this reverence can definitely, he said, attract God. New boy was telling. Very, very new boy is coming first time to this. So in Vaishnava relationships, what we feel for each other, what we think about each other, these things become very, very important. You can see this whole dialogue between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. This kind of feelings, if we can cultivate in dealing with Vaishnavas, then definitely Krishna will appear there. That's what he is saying. When we discuss Bhagavad philosophy, we are not just concerned with simply learning. We are concerned with purification of heart and awakening of realization that can only take place when Krishna, by his own sweet will, appears within the transcendental. These are all spiritual phenomena, not material. Because our naked eye is charma chakshu, we can see only the external phenomena. But what is happening internally is Krishna manifests. Krishna can manifest in prasadam also. Yeisa Krishna Aswadilo, he says, that song. Krishna can manifest in prasad. He can manifest in the holy name. Like Lord Chaitanya fed this palm full of prasadam to Narayani. And Krishna manifested in the form of ecstasy of Narayani, correct, no? She became the mother of Vrindavan Thakur later. Similarly, Krishna can manifest in kirtan. In the Keturi Gram, kirtan was so pleasing to Janavi Devi. At that time, Lord Chaitanya appeared in that kirtan. Although at the time he was not supposed to be present, he appeared. That was after the period of Lord Chaitanya, isn't it? Lord Chaitanya appeared in Keturi. That means Lord can appear in kirtan, Lord can appear in prasad, and Lord can appear in deity also. Like you see Sakshi Gopal. Lord appeared. And even Gopal, who was hiding in the bush, he manifested, pleased with the attitude of Madhavendra Puri. So he manifested in the deity form, isn't it? Lord can manifest in deity, manifest in the same manner. Lord can manifest in the Bhagavatam recitation also. Between the speaker and hearer, the right attitude is innocent, inoffensive, pure, transparent attitude is present, then the Lord is pleased to manifest. The speech of the speaker will sink into the heart of the hearers and it will cleanse the heart. Karna pravishtarandrena swanam bhava saroruham sunoti shamalam Krishna sellasya yata sharad Lautatma purusha Krishna padamulam namunchati yakta sarva parikleshair pantah sharanam yatha, he's saying. He's telling that when the message of the Bhagavatam enters the ears and enters the heart, it cleanses. Just like a lotus is unaffected by the kichad or the dirty water around. Similarly, the devotee's heart becomes aloof from the entanglements of the material world. And such a devotee who has tasted the Krishna Katha properly and has become purified, Dhautatma is saying, Panamulam na munchati, he will never give up the lotus feet of Krishna. And how does he feel? Like a weary traveler after going across the globe for long, many, many years, he's extremely tired. And then he comes to his own home, Swasharanam. When he comes to his own house, he takes a bath, relaxes in an easy chair, and he's eating prasad at his home. How comfortable he will feel. Which fool will leave such a comfort and go out again? Similarly, once a person has come to Krishna's lotus feet, he'll never leave it. Padamulam namunchati, he's saying. So, therefore, we will come back to Krishna's lotus feet by when Krishna personally manifests in that transcendental sound. Yeah, read this. Many people.
Many people, they go to various study groups and they learn Bhagavad philosophy very nicely. But the purification and realization is not necessarily there. And I have known people who have had the entire Srimad Bhagavatam completely memorized and yet they could not convince another person to change their lives.
Actually, our preaching is considered effective if you can change the lives of the hearers. Otherwise, how many people came for the Bhagavad Katha is not a very important thing. Say 10,000, 20,000 people came. Even 2 people don't agree to chant Hare Krishna. Then what is the use of that big Bhagavad Katha? The life should be changed. The life changing means the same thing. Purification of heart, awakening of realization and transformation of heart. And then they should take to the chanting of the holy name. And now you must have heard one, this thing, you know. You saw this one? Right. You saw this? How many of you saw this?
They had been small child, about 3 years old, I think. Yesterday, I met a couple from Russia, ISKCON devotees, and they had been small child, about 3 years old, I think. They are from Russia, but for last 6 years they are living in Mayapur. The child was pointing out to something in the Gopuram. The father said, he is pointing out the statue of Putana. Then I closely observed that child. He was telling, Putana, Putana, Putana. What a compassion, Prabhupada. What he has done. Can anybody match his compassion? We are struggling to convince our brother in Sri Vaishnavite to chant Dvaya Mantra and Guru Param. And Prabhupada has done a miracle going to Russia, making them chant, leaving everything, coming to India and doing seva in Mayapur. Along with the family, wife and son, they want their children to be brought up in a Vaishnavite atmosphere. The child was wearing a small dhoti and a jibba. I don't know match for Prabhupada. No match for Prabhupada. Srimate Ramanujaya.
Amazing, huh? This became viral, huh? Because he has spoken from the heart. You know, because anything that springs from the heart very naturally, with no pretension, honestly. Who is this? You know who is? Acha, some great soul, huh? From some South India, I think. Yeah. Huh? During temple, oh, right. Correct. Amazing. Correct. Hmm. Yeah, correct. Very beautiful. Yes. So, here is saying, whereas, read that.
Whereas we have children in this Hare Krishna movement who hardly know a shloka, but they could convince people to change their life.
Like Saraswati. Little Saraswati will catch a passerby and say, hey, do you know who is God? Passerby will say, I don't know. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Huh? And that person will never forget for his life. Huh? Because he has learned from whom? A small child. Huh? Like Yamaraj, when he becomes a small child and speaks, the queens hear him. Correct, no? Or when the son of Chitraketu spoke, all the queens heard very attentively. Is it not true? Similarly, in Srivas Thakur's family, when the dead child came back to life and spoke, everybody heard. Because child speaking is taken very seriously. Huh? Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like many of these children whom we hear about, including the Saraswati Mataji, and
When they
those-
grow up, they're not.
they are not in Krishna consciousness.
But one thing, what we see in Krishna consciousness, like Mataji was telling in the some time ago, at a certain stage, Krishna manifests very powerfully in certain devotees. Actually, we are most concerned about the phase of life in which Krishna manifests. For example, say Kirtan Swami, for example, when he was in the planet, till the time he was assisting Prabhupada in many places, like in the same manner, you find there have been sannyasis and grihasthas, even Shyamsundar Prabhu and his wife also, and also even Brahmanand Prabhu and Gargarishi Prabhu and all. They rendered service at a time when Prabhupada needed them the most. Correct, no? Like somebody is in desert, he wants a cup of water. You give him. Or somebody is in a train where abundantly Bisleri bottles are available. You buy one bottle and give him. Is it the same? It's different. So when for Western people to manifest that Krishna, in that it is only due to the impact of Prabhupada. But then after Prabhupada left the planet, they might not have pursued because the inspiration also got lost. Like for example, Jadurani Mataji, she was in ISKCON. But then after Prabhupada left, she couldn't find a father figure, with whom she can connect with. Then she moved to another, this thing. Her name got changed and she moved also like that. So it happens with some people like that. But the point is, during the phase of time when Krishna manifests, that extremely is endearing to see and it is very heartrending. And there are people who have continued also. Some people started for some period of time, they manifested that. After that, they became covered over. Like, for example, you shaved, and then again the beard comes. Right now, you have to keep shaving regularly. So, therefore, Krishna consciousness is not like a one step function. I became Krishna conscious, now I am free now. No, it's an ongoing thing. We have to keep, in material world, even till last breath, we have to be careful. Shaknoti eva yasodum Aksharire vimokshanat. Kama krodot bhavam begam sayukta sasuki naraha. Why he is saying till last breath? Even if somebody has become 70 or 80, it is not that they cannot fall down. There is always a possibility. The Maya is all around, she's around the corner. You have to be careful. But those who have been careful, they will be blissful all throughout their lives. And such people also we have seen, like Zona Bhakti Swami. He was literally streams of tears. You must have seen that video, huh? When you're singing Radhe Radhe Sham Sham and you are singing the last day and left the body. In blissful Krishna consciousness, left the body. Huh? Same with Sridhara Swami, left the body in a blissful consciousness. His one is Gaur Govind Swami, left the body in a very blissful consciousness. So these souls have been loyal till the last breath. Say if somebody was loyal up to 70, 75 and then they slipped from their position, just like Bharat Maharaj, he slipped from his position even after coming to the very advanced stage. Now we may say, what is the use? He was so Krishna conscious till now he slipped. Okay, for that slipping, Krishna will do something for him to bring him to the pure platform. But what he did till now, that will never go in vain. Correct, no? Like Bharat, although he slipped from his position, he got the deer's body only to shake up and wake him up. Otherwise, the deer was spiritually more advanced than Bharat. Correct, no? On the contrary, you will find, materially speaking, the deer body is considered inferior to the previous human body. Human body, deer body, materially decline, spiritually advanced. It goes like this. So therefore, we don't worry about it because spiritual. We always see spiritually only. The external material thing we don't see. All right? Yeah. Because although Krishna is personally present within every syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam, his presence is manifested when the recitation is taking place according to the principles that we are reading of here today. What is it? Read that. Where? Mike.
Where Vaishnava etiquette is properly being followed, pleasure is given to all of those devotees who are concerned, and by such pleasure, Krishna himself is satisfied and agrees to manifest himself to the vibration which is being spoken.
So what happens when Bhagavatam recited in a proper state of consciousness by the speaker and it's heard in a proper state of consciousness, everybody's hearts become engladdened. They blossom like a lotus blossoming in the morning by the sun's effect. So then when Krishna sees, oh, this sound vibration is giving pleasure to Hari Guru Vaishnavas. So then Krishna manifests. He agrees to manifest because Krishna cannot be easily attracted. But to attract him, you all may be knowing, and after the rasa dance was over, Krishna had vanished. You all know that. Then when he came back, the gopis put a cloth in which Krishna sat in the middle. And all the gopis put one cloth in which Krishna comes and sits. So now, for Krishna to manifest, it is mentioned that Sakyamuni Thakur says the cloth they put was given from their own heart in which Krishna sat. So, in the same manner, when the right attitude, consciousness is awakened, then Krishna is pleased, then he comes. See, and Bhagavatam speaker, how you should be saying, the speaker must be a humble servant of the previous acharyas. He should consider himself to be a simple, humble servant, instrument. And then before speaking, we should receive the permission of the senior Vaishnavas. We should not think that we have the right to speak without their blessing. If such senior Vaishnavas are present, we should receive their blessings, as he says. And then he's saying, we beg from them. But what do we beg from them? Now, with your permission, let me, by your mercy, repeat your words. Repeat your transcendental message for their benefit and your pleasure. Sometimes I take lectures like this and directly show it. And I just little bit elaborate because the lecture itself is self-explanatory. Correct, no? So, and there are many reciters of Bhagavatam who may be beautiful musicians and may speak very eloquently with great scholarship. They may even speak in such a way that they enthrall and captivate people's minds and hearts. But for the message of Krishna and for the power of Krishna to be present, such a person must humble himself and repeat the words of previous acharyas in the proper disciplic succession. Otherwise, it is more or less just a pious form of entertainment. The real substance will not be imparted. Like there are people who can make mass of people even cry also by speaking emotionally. Or they can make mass of people applaud. They speak very in a thrilling manner. They have vakchaturiyam. But that is not Krishna manifesting because those people don't change their lives. Transformation of heart doesn't happen. So Maharaj says that Bhaktosi me sakacheti rasamitutam. Unless one is really a devotee, Krishna will not appear from his mouth. Like a bullet that is blank. A blank bullet sounds exactly like a real bullet, but the difference is there is no substance. A real bullet has the power to penetrate your heart. Blank bullet cannot penetrate, but it sounds just the same. The same way, unless one is humble and surrendered to the previous acharyas, proper acharyas in the disciplic line, whatever he speaks may sound exactly like Bhagavatam philosophy or Bhagavad philosophy, but Krishna will not penetrate your heart through what he speaks. Even if such a speaker can make you cry tears by a very romantic and intensive way in which he speaks, still, he's saying romantic because sometimes Krishna Gopi's pastime people very romantically presented. Still, Krishna is not really manifesting himself through such a person. And such a devotee, he must be speaking not for his own profit, not for his own reputation, but he must be speaking to please the previous acharyas and to benefit all those living beings who have come to hear him. If such a devotee is in the mood of servant of the servant and speaks what he has heard, then his words have divine transcendental potency, unlimited potency, and to change their lives. And how to hear, he says, we should be anxious to hear, eager to hear, not hearing as a matter of formality, which I told you. You may not have any enthusiasm to hear Bhagavatam, but you must hear as a regulative principle. To carry out the order of the Guru, you must continue to hear every single day. That means what he's saying, in case you don't have that enthusiasm, anxiety, and eagerness to hear, anxiousness to hear, at least we should do it as a duty, at least. It's a regulative principle. And at that time, by gradually hearing the Bhagavad in the mood, we become eager to hear. That famous verse says, Yatashanvato apaitaratir vitrishna satvam chashudyata chirena pumsaha bhaktir harau tat purushe cha sakhyam tadaiva haram vadamanyase chet. That verse says 5 benefits of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Yatashanvato apaiti arati. Keep on hearing Bhagavatam, our arati will go away. Distaste will go away. Just like all of you, when you were small babies, you would have run away from your mother when she wanted to give you food. Correct, no? And later on, now you are grown up, now you take your plate and come. Please give me prasad. Earlier you were running away, now you are coming with the plate, isn't it? Similarly, in Bhagavatam, when you want to invite the new people who have weekly program, very difficult to get them. They run away like babies. You have to run behind them. Phone call, follow. 3 days before the event, 2 days before the event. Event is coming, please come for the weekly program. You all have experience, right? No? Especially devotee care servants, they have difficulty following up. But once you become a serious devotee, then weekly program, you don't have to be called. Some people call and ask, is a program there in the same place, same time? I want to join. Because the taste has increased. He's saying, Apaiti arati, vitrishna, all the mental hankerings go away. Sattvam cha shuddhati, the heart gets purified. And then bhaktir harau, bhakti for Lord Hari. And then purusheta sakyam. Tat purusheta sakyam means friendliness with devotees. These things will increase. 5 benefits. What are they? Arati, the distaste goes away. And material hankering for material enjoyment goes away. Bhogavriti goes away. And third one is Sattvam Chashiddhati. The mind gets cleansed. And then the fourth is bhakti to Lord Hari and friendliness to devotees. 5 things. So in this way, we should pray for the eagerness. We should really want to hear. We like to offer respect to the person who is speaking and who is and Krishna who is within our heart as the Paramatma, seeing that we are properly respecting his devotee and seeing that we are anxious to hear from him, willing to perform tapasya and make sacrifices to offer this respect and to hear this message. And Krishna sees that we have that type of consciousness, then he opens our ears and opens our hearts in such a way that the message can truly enter and change our lives and realization takes place, like that he is saying. And the speaker should think, nothing is mine. Be attached only to Krishna and his devotees, the mood of service. So speaker thinks, nothing is mine. Vyasasana devotees, knowledge, yeah. Like, one should think. Sometimes, for example, I preached and brought some boys, some of the brahmacharis sometimes say that, Prabhuji, these boys are my boys. They are not your boys. They are Prabhupada's boys. Correct, no? You took Prabhupada's book, studied, and you are repeating and bringing them. So don't think they are my boys. That's why don't be attached to my devotees. And then my Vyasasana. No. Vyasasana, anybody can sit and give lecture here. It's not only for you. It's not reserved for you. Similarly, the knowledge also is not my knowledge. It's even Brahma doesn't have his own knowledge. He gets from Krishna only. Is jnanam paramaguhyam me yad vijnana samanvitam tad rahashyam tadangam cha grihana gaditam. My Lord is giving him. So we have only one reason to be attached to whom? Be attached only to Krishna and his devotees in the mood of seva. That he says. That attachment is allowed. Maya sakta manapartha yogam yunjan madashraya. See, you can be attached to devotees, but in a mood of service, not to control them, but to serve them. That attachment is perfect. When the speaker of Bhagavatam sits on an elevated seat, he should never think that the seat is mine. Vyasasana belongs to Vedavyas, no one else. I should know I'm sitting in someone else's seat. I should feel that. And like a viceroy is collecting on behalf of the king. That is allowed. We absolutely, without compromise, we should repeat the words heard in this thing without any adulteration or concoction. We are given respect when we recite the Srimad Bhagavatam, not because of who we are, but because of who we represent and what we represent. And that's all of the previous acharyas and the divine sound vibration of the Bhagavad itself. And we should know that when we offer respect to such a person, this is the principle that is being followed. Like, for example, I'll ask a simple question. You came to Madan Mohan temple and you're taking darshan. Suddenly you find somebody with danda comes. Immediately people offer obeisances. Even though you may not be even knowing the name of the sannyasi. Correct or not? That means you are respecting whom? Huh? The ashram. The order you are respecting. That's what he's saying. That means we should not think they're respecting me. They're respecting the order, the sacred order. Because they don't even know the name. How can they respect the person? They're respecting the position he is holding. Like you see a police wearing the dress. So you know this is police representing the government. So that's what he's saying. Therefore, those who are representing Guru Parampara, they should never do blunders. Because that will, imagine if a police was heard to be robbing a bank. How bad it will be. If he's robbing a bank, tomorrow it will come in the paper. So if devotees do blunders, breaking regulatory principles and all that, then it comes, that actually causes a lot of damage to preaching. So, yeah, that's the point he's saying. The disciples are not mine. Within one's mind and heart, one should believe that nothing is mine. Everything we do is on behalf of our spiritual master. Everything we have, we are offering to our spiritual master. Engaging in service of Guru. Okay, knowledge is not mine. We are speaking what we have learned. Like that he says. Temple president, counselor, Guru should not think these devotees are mine. He's saying. So this kind of purification he used to give us on Saturday program, Saturday and Sunday generally. When he would give Bhagavatam class in Bombay, he would give solid punch for purification. We have heard this type of lectures many. Generally, first half class will be straight Bhagavad Gita. From the whole pastime he would narrate, and then he'll bring it to the sloka, and then say, today's sloka is this. And then he will start this kind of things, instructions. He will say, one time he was speaking, my spiritual master was speaking on this Keshi demon. He said, Keshi demon means, I am the Shiksha Guru. Very powerful. Everybody was trembling. Like that. Everybody was afraid. My Lord, now the purification starts. So, the temple president should not think, these are my devotees. Counselor should not think, these are my devotees. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Guru Maharaj. That's a real spirit of detachment. Only attached to Krishna and his devotees in the mood of service. So 2 times he has mentioned it. If you become attached to any of, even the transcendental paraphernalia for ourselves, to that extent we cannot be attached to Krishna. That means even the transcendental paraphernalia cannot be attached. What is the meaning of that? For example, you will see that if sometimes there is a fight between 2 big devotees for the same service. Yeah. Like, on a festival day, there was one devotee who wanted to dress the Lord on the festival. Of course, he's a very extraordinary devotee. The kind of dressing he will do, it's very difficult to match. Eventually, another devotee joined who is almost equally a match. Powerful dresser. So the congregation used to ask the second devotee, "Prabhuji, aap bhi dress kyun nahi karte festival ke din?" That's another problem. Some people put this thing. Yeah. Then he went and told the management, Prabhuji, har festival, why every festival he only should dress? Next festival, I also want to dress. And that person is already afraid that another newcomer has come who is also powerful like me. He is like he is a competitor for me. So then the second devotee pushes his way somehow into the altar and he dresses the Radha Krishna. And then the senior devotee was told by the management that Prabhu, at least one festival you give him chance. Then after, when he came, the senior devotee is watching when the Shringa Darshan opens. And now what he wants to do? Yeah. Then he went inside and changed something into this thing. And this devotee became angry. Hey, Prabhuji, why did you change it like this? He said, see, you are junior, you don't know. They're supposed to be like, no, Prabhu, I will show you proof. Abroad in one of the temples, they have done like this. Here is the photo. I have just copied it. So it should be that. So he goes inside and he makes it proper. So when these kind of things go to the spiritual master, he said, are they dressing the Lord or are they dressing their own false egos? Yeah, so that's why we should be careful. What do we comment on it? See, we cannot ever neglect the external principles of Vaishnava etiquette, but we must also understand the consciousness in which they are performed. It is not just offering obeisances, Vanchakalpa is over. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So he says that, here you see, he says, Vaishnava etiquette is not simply a matter of offering a person a seat, but also have a very internalized meditation on how we approach Krishna and Vaishnavas and how we approach our own seva. Huh? And when proper etiquette is being followed, then such a miraculous, wonderful descent of Krishna takes place. So here Sri Vedavya is explaining how Shaunaka Rishi, in such a very cultured, sensitive, humble manner, is praising Sutta Goswami. How he is praising him. Oh, Sutta Goswami, you are the most fortunate. Huh? And the respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Bhagavatam, which was spoken by great powerful sage Shukadeva Goswami. First, he is honoring Sutta Goswami for his good fortune, and then his empowered respectability, and then he is begging him to kindly speak the Bhagavad. Like that is saying. Very, very beautiful lecture it is. So this is also very, I will send you these notes to Prabhu. You can share it with all that. Some more things are there. How to correct the mistake of a speaker. He has clarified also. When to correct, how to correct, when not to correct. Very nice notes it is. Actually, when I heard it, I liked it very much. And yeah, this meant one Samarpan Goprabhu, one devotee in Pune. I liked this lecture, but then he made it into points like this kind of proper things. He took out, transcribed and made it. And then later on, when this Samarpan Goprabhu sent to 4 or 5 of us, we have a circle. Amongst us, we keep circulating like this. Antadip Prabhu said, I have not only taken your notes, I have highlighted also. These are highlighted ones. So Antadip Prabhu did the further highlighting of this. So, and big letters he has put, correct now? This is how I also do. I exactly do the same thing. I told them many years ago that whenever I hear a lecture, I put some in bold. If I put very bold and colorful and all, that's very serious thing. Like that. So very nicely made. So I will pass this on to you. You can... so I will... it's called as Culture, Conduct and Content of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll put in WhatsApp. Hey, it's not coming? No, it's just, yeah, it's coming now. You got it. Okay, it's just a Word file, that's all. Okay. So, it's almost time now. So, what we... see, now the rest of it is all detail. You understood the Bhagavatam thing. But Kaviraj Goswami compares the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam to eating and drinking. Eating prasad and drinking water. Huh? And then Prabhupada also says in the Bhagavatam that to hear and explain Vedic literature is more important than just reading. One can assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures only by hearing and explaining. So those of you who take the preaching programs, you will see that when you have to give a class, you have to prepare. Like these notes I gathered from different places and put together. So that kind of processing the knowledge in our life helps to blossom the knowledge more and more. Yeah. And Prakrita Sahajas, they criticize Jiva Goswami, saying that what is the need of becoming Pandita? But Jiva Goswami is explaining tattvas very clearly, because if you don't know the tattvas pakka, simply crying tears and wearing a sari doesn't make you a great devotee. Like the Sahajas. Even Lord Chaitanya was very, very learned, and Jiva Goswami also. Yeah. Religion nowadays is often regarded as superstitious and dogmatic. So, therefore, people are being misled by atheistic science and mental speculation. So, in such a society, we need a proper philosophical understanding. The proper purports help us. By a careful reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, one will know God perfectly well, so much so that the reader will be sufficiently educated to defend himself from the onslaught of atheists Over and above that, the reader will be able to convert others to accepting God as a concrete principle, as the Prabhupada writes. A reluctant devotee may complain and give excuses for why he does not regularly attend the Bhagavatam class. But Prabhupada said each devotee should wash his own plate, and after taking prasad, one of the disciples. So, complained to Prabhupada that the devotee were neglecting their duty, simply putting plates in the sink. You know what Prabhupada said? He's asking Prabhupada, could you tell something, Swamiji, to get the devotees to do what they are supposed to do? Prabhupada said, order of the spiritual master is sufficient. He said. So Prabhupada said, I have already told them that they should not put the plates in sink. They should wash and keep it. So if they don't follow, they are breaking the order of the spiritual master. In the same manner, Bhagavatam hearing, Prabhupada has already ordered us. So nothing more can be said. It's in our interest that we take this matter very seriously. So we'll conclude here. The next class, mostly this fifth and sixth. Fifth is rendering devotion service, and the sixth is giving up, following the four related principles. And those two things are there now left. I think we can do that next class, I think. Shri Prabhupada ki, aur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.